Okay, this is June 23rd, Friday, and we are in BBA second semester, section B, and we have formally completed the course. And I said last time that today you can ask me any question from any chapter if you have anything to ask. So if you have read something and if you want to ask me any question from any chapter, you can ask me now. Okay, then, because you are not asking me anything, let's talk about rhetorical strategies in your course. If you see this, sorry, my page is torn. If you read from this photocopy, you will find that before every essay, mostly, there is an introduction. There is an introduction. And I request you to go through this introduction page and paragraphs, because they will give you a very good idea of the text without working too hard. The introduction, what this introduction does is that it introduces the main idea of the text, and if you read carefully, the introduction also tells you about the rhetorical strategies. What is a rhetorical strategy in writing, or let's say in reading? Whenever we pick up a piece of writing, for example, in my hand, I have, let's say, this book, and I have opened the essay Allegory of the Cave. By Plato. So there are two things that we look for when we read, let's say, in a sense. First is what does the author say? The first is, what does the author say? Right? And the other is, how does the writer say what he or she says? Right? So this how is about rhetorical strategy. What is rhetoric? Rhetorical comes from the word rhetoric. What is rhetoric? We word rhetor. We have the word rhetor. Then we have the word. मलाई रमाइलो लाग्यो धेरै मान्छेले मेरो कुरा सुनिराख्नु भएको छैन नि हैन बोलिराख्नु भएको छ रमाइलो लाग्छ टिचरले कुनै कुरा बुझाउनु खोज्छ भन्छ तर सुन्नुहुन्छ कि यो सधैँ भइरहेको छ अब त आज लास्ट क्लास हो तर आम रियली क्युरियसली किन यस्तो भइरहेछ हैन केहीले सुनिराख्नु भएको छ केहीले सुनिराख्नु भएको छैन थाहा छैन अब साँच्चीकै सुन्नु भएको छ कि केहीले त गफै गरेर बस्नु भएको छ rhetoric. Then we have the word rhetorical. So what does rhetor mean? A rhetor is a speaker. A rhetor is a speaker. In ancient Greece, debates were held in public places. Debates on public topics were held in public places. And many people would stand up in front of the large crowd and they will debate. And they will debate on certain issue. And they will take a position. They will go for the topic or they will go against the topic. And these people who debated, they got rewards for their skills in debating. So such people were known as the rhetors. So rhetor is the word rhetor is very close to a lawyer in the court. You can say a lawyer in the court. A lawyer in the court reasons his or her case. Then rhetoric is now when this rhetor spoke, what did he speak about? He tried to persuade the people to his opinion. The speaker would try his best to convince you to agree to what he said. This is what the rhetor did. So rhetoric is art of persuasion. So rhetoric is art of persuasion. And in the sense of art of persuasion, it best applies to politicians. Politicians try their best to persuade you to believe what they're saying, because in that case you will vote for them and they will get power. Right? So rhetoric is art of persuasion. Rhetorical is that aims to persuade. And when you analyze rhetorical strategy, there are two words. Strategy means what does the author do to motivate you? What techniques, what style does the writer use? Okay, this is rhetorical and rhetorical strategy. Now let's move ahead. Do we have a duster here? I wonder if we have a duster here. This is a mouse.
Your brain is a duster. At least I've got a brain.
I didn't find a duster. Can someone help me?
I think you can use this.
Can someone help me?
No, that's fine.
Okay, you go to next one. The only second. Quick. Yeah, okay. Now let's try to review, because in the board exam, I guess you will have at least one question that will be related to rhetorical strategy. If you check the collection of old questions, you will find that every year they ask you at least one question about rhetorical strategy. So let's begin with Plato and review what rhetorical strategy, or how does he say. So first of all, we find that Plato uses a dialogue to say what he's saying. He uses a dialogue. That means there are characters in his text who speak. And you will see that these characters, they assume the role of a teacher and the role of a pupil or a student. They assume the role of a teacher or a student. And you will see that these two people, they use question and answer method. Okay? Mostly the teacher asks a rhetorical question to the student, and the student mostly nods in agreement. A rhetorical question is a question that is not intended to ask you anything. It's a question. People will ask you, put a question to you, but they don't want an answer. What they're doing is, though grammatically they are asking a question, but they are not asking a real question. They are asserting. For example, if I say, isn't it beautiful to you? I don't want to say yes or no. If I say, isn't it beautiful? If I say, let's say, isn't my class effective today? So you might say no sir, you might say yes sir, but I don't want an answer. What I want is, I'm saying my class is effective. And rather than saying my class is effective, I'm saying, isn't my class effective? So this is a question. Isn't my class effective? It's a question. It's a question just grammatically. But I don't want you to answer yes sir or no sir. I'm making an assertion. So rhetorical question is an assertion or claim that is presented as a form of a question. So you will see that mostly the teacher would ask a question and the student's job is to just to nod in agreement. Right? For example, if you see Imagine once more, I said, such an one coming suddenly out of the sun to be replaced in his old situation. Would he not be certain to have his eyes full of darkness? This question. Would he not be certain to have his eyes full of darkness? Look, the teacher, it is a teacher. It is a teacher. He is asking this question at the end of the dialogue. Would he not be certain, the one who goes outside and comes back, or goes out to the light from darkness, or comes in from light? Would he not have his eyes full of darkness? And look what the student says. Look, to be sure, he said, student. So do you see the technique, rhetorical technique? The teacher asks a question that is well designed, a strategic question, rhetorical question. And the student, you will see, mostly he will agree to the teacher. Rarely he will say no. Rarely. Because these questions are so well designed by the teacher, because they aim to, there is something called Socratic method of teaching. This is what Plato uses here. What is Socratic method? Socrates, in the city of ancient Athens, he would invite youths in open spaces, in public squares. Socrates would invite youths in public square, and youths would surround him, and Socrates would teach them philosophy. How would he teach? In this method, the student is in ignorance. The student would be in ignorance. The learner is ignorant. He doesn't know anything about a topic. There's a topic, and the student has no idea what's right. So what does the teacher do? The teacher removes his ignorance and leads to knowledge. The teacher leads the student from ignorance to knowledge. The teacher leads the student from ignorance to knowledge. How does he do that? It's not by holding your hand and drawing you to the field. No. How does he do that? The teacher leads the student from ignorance to knowledge through a method that is famous today as the Socratic method. And this Socratic method is also known as dialectic method. What is dialectic method? The teacher will present two opposing ideas, thesis and antithesis, and the teacher will gradually present two opposing ideas to the student who is ignorant about the topic, has no idea, doesn't understand. And by presenting opposing ideas and comparing them, contrasting them, and asking questions and answering them, gradually the teacher makes the student understand the topic. So by the end of the dialogue, at the beginning of the dialogue, the student will be ignorant. At the beginning of the dialogue, the learner, the student will be ignorant. But at the end of the dialogue, you will see that finally at the end of the essay, let's not say essay, because Plato didn't write essays, he wrote dialogue. At the end of the dialogue, Plato, his student will be illuminated his student will be eliminated. And this elimination comes as a startling experience. त्यो ignorant विद्यार्थी चाहिँ लास्टमा चाहिँ स्टार्ट हुन्छ कि अरे यस्तो हो र सर भन्छ नि, जब रिभिल हुन्छ नि उसलाई नलेज रिभिल हुन्छ नि, नलेज रिभिल हुँदाखेरि ऊ स्टार्टल हुन्छ, उसलाई पत्तारै लाग्दैन कि यस्तो पनि हुन्छ भनेर। तर के हुन्छ त, नलेज रिभिल, he has learned, his ignorance is gone, now he understands the concept, now he understands the topic. त्यही भएर आज पनि के भन्छ, the best way of teaching in class is Socratic method भन्छ as a thing. Now, what does Socratic method involve? What does Socratic method involve? Let's quickly see. It involves question and answer between student and teacher. Socratic method involves question and answer between the teacher. It involves serious discussion on a topic. There is a serious discussion, right? It involves learner participation. The student is also responding. Right now in this class we are not using Socratic method because only teacher is asking and answering. You are not doing anything. So this is not a Socratic method, this is lecture. Okay, he uses dialogue which has characters which are teacher and student. The नाम त्यहाँ के छ? नाम त्यहाँ छ ग्लकोन. स्पेलिङ मलाई स्योर भएन, ई हो कि होइन लास्टमा यहाँ लेखा छैन, माइट बी ई माइट नट बी, आई एम नट स्योर जस्तो लाग्यो. And then there is a speaker. So you will see that Glaucon is Plato's brother. प्लेटो का आफ्नै भाइ थियो, एक्चुअल नाम ग्लुकोन थियो, रियल हो उसको भाइ नै थियो, with that name. So Glaucon is a student. The other speaker is teacher. This teacher is Socrates. Socrates was a very famous Greek philosopher. He was Plato's teacher. Socrates taught Plato and many other people. Plato came up as the most outstanding student of Socrates. We know today about Socrates because of Plato. And we know about Socrates today because Plato wrote about his teacher in his dialogues. He wrote. That's how a student can make his teacher immortal. Last year you read one essay, The Teacher Who Changed My Life by Nicholas Gage in first year, New Directions, chapter 2, Education, where Nicholas talks about Marjorie Heard, the female teacher whom he met in class 7, and how Marjorie changed his life by teaching him how to write, and how because of Marjorie, Nicholas became a journalist. Now, one method is dialogue and Socratic method. Okay? Another method that Plato uses, another technique is analogy in this essay, in this dialogue I mean. What is analogy? Analogy is comparison between two dissimilar things based on some sort of resemblance. For example, Plato talks about cave. So this can be compared to material world. There are so many things. I have already talked about this thing in my class, I remember. I won't go in detail right now. So on one side you will see there are items in the analogy, things like, for example, the fire is a representation of knowledge, the sun, ultimate goodness. So there are things which stand for something else. So Plato uses analogy. As the title says, allegory. And allegory is a story that uses analogy and that might have humans and non-human characters. And an allegory is particularly a story that aims to teach you a moral lesson, like a parable. So this allegory of the cave aims to teach you that what you take as reality, sensory reality, is not real. This world is not real. This world is false, because this is sensory world. What is real then? The ideas are real. The universal forms are real. Okay, that's good. So I quickly told you the rhetorical strategy applied by Plato in his dialogue, Allegory of the Cave, which has been taken from his multi-volume book, The Republic. Plato, as a great philosopher and teacher, he wanted to create a perfect society, better society, ideal society. So he wrote a political book, Republic, where he describes how to educate people and how to create a good society. And this book is named as The Republic. Republic is a country, political system where people are in power. Republic is a political system where government is created from the popular will of the people, where the ruled people decide how they want to be ruled. Now let's move to the second essay. If you, just to remind you, if you see, for example, look here, here is Plato's Rhetoric. There are notes given. If you kindly have time to read this section in your book, you will easily know what I am teaching you right now. So at home, if you find time and interest, have a quick reading so that in the examination they will give you at least one question on rhetorical strategy and you can easily answer. Let's have a quick look. Okay, it's about allegory, dialogue, then question answer method, then style. Style is clear, simple, direct, plain style. There are discussion questions. If you are interested, try them, because mostly you might see that in the board exam your questions might be from this section. The questions you get might be from these sections. For example, what does the situation seem to be in this dialogue? What would you say the relationship between Socrates and Glaucon? So the situation in this dialogue is that Glaucon has some confusion about what is reality, what is truth. Glaucon is a student and he doesn't know what is reality, what is truth, and how to know truth. So he comes to his teacher, Socrates, teacher, and he expresses his confusion. And then his teacher begins by saying that as a human being, we have a limitation about what we can know and what we cannot know. Human beings have a limitation about what they can know and what they cannot know. We use the word nature. Nature. For example, how do you know truth? Through your eyes, nose, tongue, skin, ears, senses. And he says that truth cannot be known by these five senses. Because truth is beyond sensory, let's say, definition. Right? Then there's a question, what is the allegory of the cave meant to represent? So we have discussed this from paragraph 1 up to paragraph 35 in the essay, in the dialogue. It's about allegory from paragraph 1 to 35. The first 35 paragraphs are about the allegory. And they represent the idea that material reality is not reality. It is spiritual or ideal reality that is ultimate real. Okay. The writing assignments, and if you do them, you will see that you will get questions in the board exam from this section. Let's move to second. Karl Marx, the Communist Manifesto. This is a very long text. Actually, in your course, the full length is not given. If you download the PDF file, you will see that it has around 50-60 pages. The original treatise is much longer than it is given in your course. The editors have edited to make it manageable for you. Even then, we have almost 95 paragraphs in our course. One thing you will see right from Plato, in the first 5 essays on philosophy, one thing you will see is that there is dialectic method. What is dialectic method? In dialectic method, there will be a thesis, then there will be antithesis, then there will be synthesis. To make it very easily, to make it understandable very easily, for example, let's write day. Let's write day. Then antithesis will be night. Now thesis and antithesis cannot go together. One will oppose the other. If there is day, there can't be night. Where there is night, there can be day. But if you go to YouTube and just type, show me the place where there is day and night at the same time, YouTube will show you one real place in Spain, I guess, where there is day and night at the same place. You just walk this side, there is night, dark. You just walk 10 meters, there is day, there is a line, you can see. It's always like that. There is a place where you look this side, there is dark. Lights are turned on. You look this side, there is day, light. You just type, go to YouTube and type, show me the place where it is day and night at the same time. It's a real place because it happens because of Earth's shape. Now, what is synthesis? For example, dawn, early dawn. Now you will see that in early dawn, there are symptoms of night. The sun has not risen yet, so it's dark, so it's night. But if you look toward the eastern horizon, you will see the glimmer of light. So there is day also. It is early dawn where day and night come together. They are together. So this is synthesis. Now to make it simple, dialectic is you have two opposing ideas, male and female. Male and female. Now normally you will see that Male and female won't come together. They'll oppose each other, right? You will see. Even in your family, your parents will teach. If you're a girl, they will teach you to stay away from the boys. If you're a boy, they will teach you to stay away from the girls. Even if you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, your parents, if they know, they might oppose you. We have this culture, right? So there is opposition between a boy and a girl. Thesis, antithesis. But you also see that they come in, they fall in love, they have affairs, and gradually they come closer. They might marry, they might have physical relation, they might have a child. Look, they were opposite. They were opposite, but they come together. Right? These two opposing ideas come together. Why I talked about this thing? Why I talked about this dialectic, thesis, antithesis, synthesis? Because you will see this in all 5 essays on philosophy. For example, in Plato, the thesis is idealism. The antithesis is materialism. In Karl Marx, and you will see that Plato favors idealism against materialism. Now in Karl Marx also, there is the bourgeoisie or bourgeois. One spelling is pronounced bourgeoisie, the other is bourgeois, and the other is proletariat. चौकी तर मैले बिचा पढाउन खोजेको जाऊ सकेसम्म क्लास थ्रु आउट बस्ने कोसिस गर र हो टोयलेट लाग्छ भने त जानुपर्छ जाऊ म अघि यहाँ आएपछि के म घरमै वासरुम गएको थिएँ होइन म फेरि यहाँले वासरुम गएँ किन वासरुम गएँ कि अब मैले वासरुम गइनँ भने मैले पानी खाएर आएको छु बिचमा मलाई पिइङ लाग्न सक्छ त मैले के रोकेर पढाउनु पर्यो कि बिचमा क्लास पढ्नु पर्यो त्यो गर्न हुँदैन एउटा क्लास फुल कम्फर्टेबली पढाउँछु म वासरुम गएँ अनि आएँ सो आम कम्फर्टेबल अहिले म ब्रेकमा जान्छु तिमीलाई के सिकाएँ सक्छौ भने कुनै चिजमा भोलि कुनै प्रेजेन्टमा बस्छौ कुनै प्रोग्राममा बस्छौ भने त्यो जति मिनटको प्रोग्राम छ त्यति मिनटलाई फिजिकल रेडी गर्छौ के बिरामी छ औषधि गर होइन तर यो टेन्डेन्सी मैले यो क्लासको बिचमा वासरुम जानुपर्ने टेन्डेन्सी 2-3 वर्षपछि मैले पहिला फेरि कोभिड पछाडि देखिरहेको छु एन्ड दिस इज सरप्राइजिङ हामी त छ अब्जर्भ गरिरहेछौँ अब्जर्भ गरिरहेछौँ कोभिड पछाडि देखिरहेको छु र मैले हाम्रो भ्याक्सिनको रिलेसन छ कि केही हाम्रो बडीले हो त भनेछ त भ्याक्सिन लगाएर मान्छेले बच्चा हुँदैन भन्छ अरे तिमी सुन पढ न बुढो कति कुरा हुन्छ भ्याक्सिन लगाएको भ्याक्सिन लगाएको मान्छे अलिकति तिमी बिमार जोइदिन्छ नि बिमार हुन्छ भन्छ मैले लगाएको छु तिमी फेरि लगाएको छु भ्याक्सिन ल राशि र अतिथि जानुहोस् म यहीँनिर मेरो क्लास दियो 8 बज्यो सन्डे पनि म क्लासमा आउँछु तपाईँ आइराख्नुभयो भने यो हप्ता म चाहिँ सबै एसएमा चाहिँ रेटोरिकल स्टडिजबाटै पढाउँछु किनभने मैले क्लासमा पढाउँदाखेरि भने होला नभने होला र अहिले म चाहिँ पर्टिकुलरली स्ट्राटेजीबारे फोकस गर्छु सबै एसएमा र मैले के भने तपाईँको सर्ट आन्सरको 6वटा क्वेसनमा एटलिस्ट एउटा क्वेसन आउँछ सर्ट आन्सर 6वटा हुन्छ र तपाईँलाई मैले अब के गर्छु भन्दाखेरि मैले घरमा त्यो मल्टिपल चोइस क्वेसनको फाइल बनाएको छु म तपाईँलाई बिर्सिरहेको छु मेल गर्छु र तपाईँले त्यसलाई प्रिन्ट गर्नुहोस् अनि त्यो टिक लगाएर मलाई बुझाउँदै जानुहोस् हामीले 1 विक मोर क्लास चलाउँछौँ कमिङ फ्राइडेसम्म क्लास चल्छ थ्याङ्क यू